Hey everyone, this is Abbas from Tech Radar, and today we're looking at the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus, a competitor to the iPad Pro. While every new model of Android supports tablets, it largely goes unnoticed due to the lack of excitement when it comes to Android tablets. Unlike the mobile phone space where you have so much competition amongst phone manufacturers, there are only a handful of players such as Samsung and Huawei that pay attention to Android's tablet market. We've already seen Huawei release the excellent MatePad earlier this year, but without support for Google Mobile Services. And though Samsung's latest Galaxy Tab 7 Plus has no issues with that, Samsung isn't gunning to be the best Android tablet. With a gorgeous 12.4-inch OLED screen and a fast processor, Samsung is setting its eyes on the iPad Pro. Let's start with the design. Now, when you think of a premium tablet, the design that instantly comes to your mind is the iPad Pro, a large screen with thin bezels and flat sides. The Samsung Galaxy Tab 7 Plus has all of that and manages to up the game by being both thinner and lighter than the 12.9-inch iPad. At 575 grams, it's pretty light, but you'd still want to hold it with two hands. It's also impressively thin at just 5.7 millimeters, which makes it the thinnest tablet I've used. Thin and light does not mean that the Galaxy Tab S7 Plus feels cheap. Quite the opposite. There is no flex and it feels extremely premium with the brushed metal sides that reminds me a bit of the Galaxy Note 4. It is sexy. The backside of the tablet is fingerprint friendly and you can see smudges very easily on this Mystic Black color that I have. It is available in two additional colors, which are Mystic Silver and Mystic Bronze. Samsung has placed the antenna lines around the edges on the back and they hide well in the design. There is a glass strip along the top that acts as a magnet to attach the S Pen. It's not the strongest magnet, and the fact that it's behind the tablet made me wary of losing the stylus without realizing it, as you don't see it. However, Samsung has a clever design solution with the cover, and we'll come to that a little bit later. The camera modules are also placed within this glass strip with a tiny bump around it. You have a 13-megapixel primary and a 5-megapixel ultra-wide camera, but who really uses cameras on the back of a tablet? What counts is the front camera, and Samsung has placed it in the right position. I've complained about the iPad having a camera here, which is terrible for video conferencing, something we're all doing a lot of these days, but Samsung gets it right. Coming to the ports and connectors, the Samsung Galaxy Tab 7 Plus has just one USB 3.2 Type-C port on the right that can either act to charge or provide data connection. There are plenty of docks and dongles available that can extend the functionality of this port, but two ports are always better than one. There is a smart connector at the bottom as well that magnetically attaches to the Samsung keyboard cover. More on that later as well. If a tablet was judged by its screen, the Samsung Galaxy Tab 7 Plus would easily be the best tablet out there. The gorgeous 12.4-inch OLED screen has a resolution of 2800 by 1752 and supports a fast 120Hz refresh rate, making it super smooth to operate. The 16:10 aspect ratio is a decent compromise between entertainment and productivity. Most streaming content is made with a 16:9 aspect ratio, so you lose very little screen estate when you're watching Netflix or YouTube. On the flip side, you don't get as much vertical space for apps such as browsers or your emails. There are very narrow bezels around the tablet, and Samsung has a good job of preventing accidental taps when using the tablet. However, the issue is when you're using the S Pen and having your hand rested on the tablet, where I saw a lot more accidental taps being registered. Let's talk about the S Pen that is already included in the box. That's right, no need for a separate purchase such as the Apple Pencil. Now, if you're wondering Samsung has given you a cheaper version of the S Pen, you're wrong. Like the Apple Pencil, the S Pen magnetically attaches on the back and charges wirelessly. Samsung has improved the latency on the S Pen and added air gestures to Tab 7, much like the ones you saw on the Galaxy Note 20. Besides the S Pen, you can also optionally buy the book cover and the book cover keyboard for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7. The book cover magnetically attaches to the back of the tab and adds a kickstand that lets you use the Galaxy Tab S7 very much like a Microsoft Surface Pro, where the angle of the kickstand can be adjusted freely to put the tablet at whatever angle that you like. The top of the book cover has a small flap which you can open, and that's where your S Pen sits. It's a nice trick and I highly recommend you get this so you don't lose your S Pen. The book keyboard cover snaps onto the Galaxy Tab S7 Plus magnetically and gets you a full-size keyboard as well as a nice trackpad. The keys are large and nicely spaced with decent throw, though they're not backlit. You do get the full set of keys along with numeric and function keys for shortcuts. The trackpad is also decently sized, slightly bigger than the one found on the iPad Pro's keyboard case. However, it is a bit jumpy, kinda like some of the Windows laptops that you use. Samsung has equipped the Galaxy Tab 7 Plus with the fastest processor currently available for Android platform, the Snapdragon 865 Plus. This is backed by 8GB of RAM, and with that 120Hz display creates the smoothest Android tablet experience I've come across. There's also 5G present in some markets, while others will only get LTE. Geekbench scores aren't as high as the iPad Pro, but you won't be able to tell much of a difference with real-world usage. Apps launch quickly and you can easily switch between them without any delays. I had multiple apps working on the Tab 7 Plus and it continued to operate as fluidly as having a similar set of apps open on the iPad Pro. There are 4 speakers on the Tab 7 Plus and they sound pretty good, but not as loud or deep as the iPad. There's also a fingerprint sensor under the display. It's not as fast as the ones we've seen on phones, but works well enough. Where things get uninteresting when it comes to Android tablets is with apps. Developers just haven't warmed up as much to Android tablets. And it's not restricted to smaller developers that don't necessarily have the resources. Apps such as Microsoft Teams on Android tablets has a single pane, which means that you either see the chat list or the chat's content. Even Spotify, which makes much better advantage of the iPad's larger screen, is simply a stretched out version of the phone app on Android tablets. However, all is not doom and gloom, and there are apps that are optimized for Android tablets. Google obviously tries to make all of its apps work very well on Android tablets, but for the ones that don't, Samsung has a reasonable solution called DeX. When your Tab 7 Plus is in DeX mode, your typical Android home screen is replaced by one that looks a lot like a Windows desktop and allows Android apps to work in freely movable windowed versions. This allows you to be a lot more productive on the Galaxy Tab 7 Plus, running multiple apps off Android and partially solving apps that are only designed to run on smaller screens. However, not all apps are compatible with DeX, and there were times when I had to exit DeX just to get an app working. That unfortunately sums up the sad state of apps on Android tablets. There's no denying that the Tab 7 Plus is the best Android tablet out there, but Samsung doesn't want it to be the best Android tablet. It wants it to be the best tablet, and even with Samsung's best efforts, that's unfortunately not the case. Google needs to push developers harder to optimize apps for Android tablets, because you have this incredible hardware from Samsung that's better than the iPad in many respects, and it's such a shame that it's not being utilized to its full potential. This is Abba signing out, and stay tuned to Tech Radar for everything in the world of tech.